All right.
Boom.
Happy podcasting.
Happy podcast day.
Also, Happy New Year.
Happy
in person.
Yes. In person. It hasn't really been that long. It has.
We have not
20
met
days.
in December. We met before the holidays.
We did.
And that's it. So it's almost been over a month.
Yes. It's been a whirlwind.
It has been a whirlwind.
I've had to replace 3 tires. One of them twice.
Oh no.
From the travels.
Yeah.
From potholes.
Stupid ass potholes.
Yes, which, when you experience them, because the potholes I experienced were in Dallas proper, just makes you wonder. You don't really have to wonder about where our tax dollars go for infrastructure and public works.
I've lived with potholes most of my growing up. So when I found Austin had much lesser potholes, though Austin has potholes. I mean, it's a university town and small, and so there were areas, especially Lamar and 45th and that area, 47th and Lamar, and all, you have potholes and whatnot. I'm like, oh my god, there's potholes in US.
They're being repaired now, but yes, they are. And if you get a flat tire from a pothole, you're supposed to be able to submit for reimbursement from the city. I was able to do that effectively in Seattle, not so effectively here.
Surprising.
On purpose. It's all by design.
Yeah.
When
you make things harder for people
will
stop. And I remember having a CEO come and tell me, don't make it easy for our users to come and find pause of membership, cancellation of memberships. Don't make it simple. Let them call, not even like submit email requests, like no buttons on it. Like it is, I think, very selfish.
It's all by design. It's all extractive.
Those are the areas where I will fight because I know it's wrong. Integrity matters, and but
didn't Adobe just get sued its pants off for doing that?
I'm sure they did. I don't remember it. It sounds
It was
familiar.
very recent. Because it was like almost impossible to cancel your Adobe Suite membership. And it's also like very, very expensive to have a membership to Adobe Suite. I don't have one, but I need one and I need to learn how to use it.
You can learn how to use it just by watching videos.
YouTube?
Yeah.
I purchased a membership to Skillshare. And learned how to do like wireframing for apps.
Nice.
Off of Figma.
Yeah. But we're talking about how you were talking about how you're not self-initiated or self-motivated, and there's a lot of science and studies on the psychology of motivation, which is when you want to do something, you do something, versus doing things because you don't brush your teeth because you want to.
Right.
You gotta brush your teeth.
You do.
It's just this, right? And it then becomes a habit. And there was a snippet of podcast from Mel Robbins talking to Simon Sinek, and they're talking about Nike and how its tagline is "Just do it." And you know what the most powerful word in that those 3 words are?
Is do.
It's actually not. It's because when you tell people to do something, it's a controlling thing, right? People don't want to be controlled. People don't want to be told what to do. Commanded. The word there is just. The most powerful word is keep it going. Keep doing. Don't worry about it. It need not have any reaction behind, like people think outcomes are the most important, and understandable. We
Right.
have created a world so programmed for outcome based. The reason why companies like Adobe and so many others do these kind of things is because we have put not just a premium, this is the focus, is making money. When making money becomes primary, not offering something of importance or value, then you skew everything up. In your perspective of, like, even social media, right? Just post because that's what you're feeling, not because there are reactions coming, not because you need to make money out of it. Those are very powerful things to hear. And then there is just innate behaviors, right? I don't like to sell myself. It is, and I've done it for years. And the underlying thing about selling yourself is you have to constantly feel like you have to prove yourself.
Right. I don't have that bone anymore.
That's it. When you constantly feel like you have something to prove, it's not that you have something to prove, it is that you need to prove it to somebody else because they don't see you, they don't value you.
Right.
It is not just draining in a very fundamental level, but it is debilitating because it is telling you until others see, you don't have what it means to be you.
Right.
So when you constantly have to prove yourself, it is external validation.
Right.
And it's I've been seeing this Western cultures say this, but indigenous and Eastern cultures don't say this. Just being is enough. I come from India.
Right.
I know how much external validation is forced on, how much find something where you can make money, be of value to people, find purpose, find meaning. Let me live without any of that. Who I am need not be based on how I describe who I am. It need not have labels.
Right.
And so it's very, I felt it very powerfully when you said it. I'm like, no, you do take initiative, but it is, honey, you've been taking initiative since you were a baby.
Yes. Well, okay, here's the part. The part is that what you've been talking about is everything that we live within currently is centered and focused on the need for capital, because we need capital
Yes.
in order to survive.
Yes.
Comfortably or at all.
I mean, even for
Right
one.
now. Right. So what I notice about my innate nature and proclivities towards are not things that are not invaluable, but they are not capital earning.
Yeah, they're not money making.
Right. People value me in different ways, but it is not going to help me to buy a house or to secure my finances.
Yeah.
And that has been something, that juxtaposition of how I am versus how I need.
Yes. What we have made as a transactional for basic goods into something that is excessive consumerism. It is the one we hang our worth on, value on, presence on.
Yes.
And it's
almost threatening. So like when you're looking at the housing market, when you're looking at trying to rent a place, there is no easy, like, rent is always going to have its foot on the necks of families. Mortgages, property taxes. So what we saw in this last year in local elections even, and I talked to very intelligent people where I work now, and they were vehemently against the propositions to fund the Frisco ISD. And it was going to raise property taxes by around $200 per household. They were vehemently against property tax increase to fund improvements and retrofittings and investment in school programs. $200 annually per household. They were vehemently against it. They aren't against spending $200 every 4 days just to go have 4 Manhattans at the bar. They're not against living in $5 million homes.
They want to have the cake and eat it too.
Yes, but...
And it's very self-centered. That is the thing, right? It isn't very community-centered. But, you know...
Where is that civic responsibility?
This is where it gets hard, okay? I completely am all for civic responsibility. I think... Remember last time when we talked about the fact that humans lack mission.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Humans lack mission statement that says, can we improve the lives of humans? And every human, we combine all our human beings into a species. I would rather us think about human beings like flora, where you have many different variety. There are plants that are very native and small, and they will only grow in a very small area. And there are those that will just spread like wildfire.
Right.
Human beings are uniquely that way. I no longer want to spread like wildfire. I was told that's the only way to be, is be impactful for many and have a job that is, you know, your voice is heard, and control and power and money. And I'm like, my God, this is draining, because at every point I had to prove myself.
Right.
And I had no choice but to prove myself. Every day I had to prove myself, and it is exhausting. And there are, you know, there was a beautiful kiddo who was snowboarding, like a 4-year-old, and her mom was videotaping, and she was saying, you guys are all like zoomerers. You just zoom around, like, you know, doing things constantly. I am not a zoomerer. I'm a hearer. Just want to be like grounded.
Right.
That kind of thing. Like, yes, we need to have the element of, hey, if our house is going to be stable, let's make sure the other house, we don't just, you know, make that house just fall apart.
Right.
However, we also have enough and more information to know how bloatedly inefficient our government systems are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is critically crippling to so many people. Things that are in place, government agencies have been my clients, and I see this so many times. I've seen it before. The number of steps they feel they have to go through to procure services or goods or whatever, and they don't even realize that the number of steps is slowing down the efficiency. They do not have clarity on exactly what they want, who can provide it, and get on with it. It's just, there's a lot of bureaucracy and cumbersomeness and blah, blah, blah. And the $200 that people think needs to go towards, hey, let's build something for everybody, I think it's super important. And I think there is this, people don't communicate well on, we don't think those $200 are actually going to go do this, because last time when we saw an increase like this, we didn't see where it actually impacted. If that was the words, they need to say those words, come together and ask and work with the local government and state government and city government and say, guys, let's lay out a plan. Let's make sure we hold each other accountable. Versus to your point of what is obvious from the behavior, that people don't talk fully about the thoughts and the feelings they don't even sometimes know, is I would rather spend it on my things that I can control, that brings me joy, versus things I don't know where it's going to go because I don't see the value of it.
My thing is that a lot of these people, this is going to sound very silly, so bear with me. A lot of these people that are against funding public schools love football.
Yeah, true. They do. Oh my God, correct.
They love sports. They love betting on sports. They love talking about new and upcoming players. Where do they come from? College football? Where do they come from? Schools,
Yeah.
public schools, public school facilities,
Yeah.
public school programs, coaches. If you would like to invest in your entertainment,
That's it. That's the thing. It's entertainment. Yeah.
because that's all it is. It's like the American gladiator system.
100%.
It really is. These giant stadiums where people destroy their bodies for millions of dollars. But the people who power that are not valued. Like, I want you to know, my daughter goes to a beautiful school. And it's new. It hasn't even been there for, I think this is the second year they've been open. It's a beautiful facility. The staff was recruited from all over. They're excited to be in this facility because it's state of the art. It's so cool. There's STEAM room, which is what it's science, technology,
Arts, mathematics.
Yes, I forget what the E is. Engineering. And the art room, they're right next to each other, but it has a balcony where they can go sit outside and do outside work.
Nice.
Right, and it's there's 3 floors.
Things we didn't get.
Not at all. They have houses. They have houses sorted out like Hogwarts. There are 6 different houses.
How cute.
Yes, and they all have a different value. And they have pep rallies that are hosted by the different houses. Okay? It's so neat. The classrooms rotate. They're not permanent. Okay? Their labs are out in the center. They're not like pushed off in a room. Okay?
So they are designed for people to interact
And innovate.
Innovate. Yes.
Yes.
And it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're gonna learn, right? Because the classrooms move around, it's built in that it might be confusing.
Yeah.
But it's okay. There's people here to help you.
Yes.
Okay?
You don't want to get too comfortable with just what you know. You want to be able to adapt.
Right.
And they're teaching adaptability.
Absolutely.
How lovely. And this is a public school.
This is a public school.
And we appreciate it.
Yes.
My kid goes to public school.
Yes.
We appreciate
You can't
it.
divest from public schools.
No.
The
Education
way-
needs to be backbone.
Absolutely. But the way that you can go to other schools in our district and they are not.
This.
Right. They haven't been updated in 20 years. Can you imagine, even just plumbing wise,
Oh my. Yeah.
what kind of investment it would take to bring that school up to a competitive level again? Because that's really what we're getting at here.
Yes.
We need to elevate education in order to elevate our workforce.
100%. 100%.
Right?
Even before we elevate the workforce, though you are 100% right in that, if we don't find ways to create systems to offer everyone the opportunity to gain knowledge.
Right.
Knowledge allows us to be on the same, I don't want to say playing level because that's not true at all, but it at least offers us some level of equality, some level of equality. And anyone who doesn't have these kind of things is already set up for, a different level of equity.
Right.
So I love that Ari goes to this school.
Right.
And I clearly see your point.
She came from a Title I school.
Correct. Oh, wow.
Which is right across, it's in our neighborhood. Which I think is important to have.
And you are seeing the stark differences between the two. AJ went from a private school to a public school, and then we saw the public school get updated to, and I clearly see the focus on sports is a whole lot more. And so therefore studies is shoved down the throat so fast, so crazy, kids' heads are spinning. And it's still traditional methods get used, not having enough room to innovate on those methods.
or to teach every student. So when we're talking about personality tests, Ari got really frustrated with me the other day because I wanted her to read a book. I love reading.
Yeah.
I love books.
Yeah.
She struggles to read chapter books because there's no pictures.
Yeah.
Because she's a visual learner, and she like vehement. She got so mad at me, so upset about being a visual learner.
Yeah.
And how I somehow devalued that for her.
I had a conversation recently with another parent who was very upset that their kid would not sit and read books. Okay. She's was a very big book reader, right? And the kid is, to your point, very similar, audiovisual, savant like in certain areas, right? And I was having this conversation with her saying, what you don't realize is your programming, your brain gets programmed, your body gets conditioned, okay? Your programming when you grew up was such that books were your primary medium of knowledge and information. And so your brain is programmed much more comfortably to be able to sit and read a book.
Yes.
And everybody reads books differently. I do enjoy reading from a book, but I'm a very slow reader. Very slow reader, okay? For me, because visualization is happening in my head when I read, it takes, like, I'm very minute in the details kind of thing, right? So I'm a slow reader. And for things to register, I have to go back and reread because only certain things are going to register. And for him, he is a audiovisual person. So the amount of information he gets in his head through short videos is much higher, and it registers than reading, which is painful for their programming. Because as a computer engineer, and she has engineering background, and I use this analogy with her. Think about you trying to do word processing spreadsheet, in that if you try to create PowerPoints and you try to create artwork in it, it is really, really hard, and vice versa.
Right.
So the programming of your daughter's brain, I hear the value of being able to try different things. And I think that is a beauty of a human brain. It can be reprogrammed with the right exposure and cues.
Right.
But kids see our frustration in wherever the frustration might be and take it as criticism. So it is, my kid is an 8th grader, has been struggling. He was out for a few days. He had flu last week. He was out for a few days, and he's struggling with his high-level advanced math. For the last 2 years, I've been telling him, me and his dad have been telling him, go for on level, don't, it's not necessary to do advanced. He's like, no, I have to do it. His dad was trying to help him yesterday because he's fallen behind. And one thing that, not deviating from it, one thing that we are finding ourselves starkly different is there are no textbooks. So there's no written materials, right?
Canvas, right?
Canvas or some other form, right? Our programming is, we have had textbooks. You see theories.
Reference material.
You see reference material. You see problem examples. We are able to look at a bigger picture of 7-8 pages together to be able to gather.
Right.
And we don't currently, neither do we currently actively use quadratic equations and stuff like that, nor do we use the methods they learn and teach right now. So I think my husband was frustrated in his own learnings of certain things. He's super smart, but he was catching up. My kiddo, I think, wants things to be, because of his quick pickup in information, wants things to click faster. When it doesn't click faster, he's getting frustrated. So I connected with my kid separately. He was just drying his hair or whatever, and I went in and talked to him, and he's like, Dad is getting mad that I am not getting the answer right immediately. Neither was that happening.
Right.
it was him projecting himself, not able to get the information and clicking, and using his dad as his tool.
Right.
I came out and told my husband, hey, this is how he's feeling. I didn't do any such thing. I'm like, I know, I've been listening to you. I'm just telling you, this is how he's
perceiving it. Right.
Or even registering in his own head, he's projecting, right? I'm just using all this example as, you know, it's hard for Ari to transition all the way there. Maybe graphic novels, maybe just one chapter. It might even help to read together.
That's what I was trying to do with her, because she would get caught up on something. And I even got frustrated. I did get frustrated because she was already frustrated. There were words, she didn't know what they meant. And she was like, this isn't on my reading level. And I looked it up and I was like, it should be. And I was like, and I'm sorry. And also, let me help. You know, like even talking to her, I was trying to use some phonetic tools because there was a word she stumbled through where she was not using the correct phonetics for the vowel. And I was like, you know, a vowel followed by a consonant followed by another vowel means that the first vowel has a long vowel sound. She's like, what's a consonant? She's like, we never learned that. I learned what vowels were, but what's a consonant? And I was like, anything that's not a vowel. I was like, you should have learned that in like what, first, second grade? But first and second grade for them were COVID years, right? And while I've tried to read with her, she gets really frustrated. And I'm trying to understand if maybe she needs to be able to read along with an audiobook. That way she can hear it and it feel neutral. It's not me correcting her.
Yeah.
It's not me saying, hey, are you sure that's not this word instead?
You know, I think it might help.
Right.
I'm not offering solutions here. I'm happy to brainstorm with you.
Right.
I think all your solutions are phenomenal.
Well, some people will say that audiobooks are just as effective as reading. Like listening to an audiobook is the same as reading a book, is what they will tell you.
I think everybody's a little different. For me, audio, just as reading, I will skip words and then I have to come back. It's just everybody's brain is wired differently. But where I was going with reacting to what you were saying was, Ari is in what, fifth grade? Fifth grade, okay. Already by the time fifth grade hits, and my kid is in 8th grade, they are hearing the test they have to take, developmental levels they have to take, and they are hearing, you are not at that level, this is not at that level, that is not at that level, do this level before that level, meaning you need to hit things. I remember reading, and trust me, when I grew up, felt very similar pressures, but I remember reading for sometimes the pleasure of reading, and I used to have a couple of really good library people who were like, it's okay if you don't know the word. You will understand the context of it by reading the whole thing. Don't lose, like, because if you're so stuck on, oh my God, I don't know the word, and then you spiral into I'm dumb, or this is not on my level. So one is you are criticizing, the other is you're finding excuse. I am not good enough, critical.
Right.
It's not at my level. I don't need to know. Excuse.
Right.
Neither of that. Because we have constantly programmed into that.
You're never going to know every word. That's what I tried to tell her. I was like, there are still words that I don't know.
So many.
There are words I don't know how to pronounce.
So many.
Like I look up words regularly. I think, to me, it's exciting.
Yes.
And I tried to read The Scarlet Letter. Have you ever read The Scarlet Letter?
So long ago.
Seventh grade is when I read The Scarlet Letter. The first page took me 2 days to get through.
Yes.
Because it's written in what, Old English style? It was ridiculous.
It is like, so hard to understand. What are you trying to say right now?
All to say that she was just castigated from society because of a man's choice. Which was terrible. But more to my point with Ari was just read it. Just see if you can figure it out.
Yes.
Just try it, and she wouldn't hear it. It was resistant, and just like with volleyball right now, she's very resistant to wanting to go. My assistant coach doesn't. She's like, well, just have her come. Ari doesn't want to go because of the assistant coach right now, because she feels like the assistant coach highlights her emotions and puts it on the forefront, where Ari doesn't want that. She's like, why did she have to point out that I was crying in front of everyone? She's like, she should mind her business. And I'm like, touche. Like, I hear that. She thinks she's helping. She lives in a different kind of household.
You know, it happens with single child because they are so magnified because of all the attention they give. It happens. It's a very difficult thread. It's not an easy thing by any means. I mean, we all, especially my kid, used to, the other day, I don't know what it was. Yeah, his friends had come over for a sleepover. My son has million stuffed toys.
Oh, love that.
And these kids are all at 14, right? 13, 14. Very boisterous age. So we had a total under our roof, including my kid, 4 boys and 1 girl.
Oh.
Okay. All boisterous. You know, the most boisterous is the girl.
Absolutely.
You know,
She's with all the boys.
Yeah, she's incredible. She's one of my favorite.
I love that.
Yeah. And they were very rough playing. Like, you're lying on the ground and pulling you with your legs, wrestling, hitting with toys, and absolute. And they broke his stuffed snake. EJ was not upset. He was not crying. Nothing. And I'm like, after everything had done, next day, 2 days later or whatever, hey, do you want to talk about it? You love that snake. You want to, you know.
Right.
Like, are you okay? How you feel? Mom, it's not that deep. Whoa! It just, so I think as we have grown older, because maybe we didn't ever get enough opportunities to be heard, we have done over hearing from them. And now they're like, no, I just want, put me behind a pillow, put me behind a door. I do not want to be seen. I'm already all the time seen.
Right.
I'm too raw in how much I see myself and you see me, and I just don't want to be on the magnifying glass. I can understand it.
She's definitely been like, you just want me to be smart and healthy. Like, I maybe did a little bit of an overcorrection with her.
She is smart.
Eating habits. So I was noticing, because we've talked about this before, where she had a small kind of borderline eating disorder, beginning of an eating disorder in 3rd grade because of body shaming. Where I've noticed now where she is kind of binge eating.
Yeah,
and it's showing.
Yeah.
And our clothes are starting to show that.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing, there's a lot of anger here.
Yes.
I used to be compulsive eating because of all of my feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're just trying to fill a hole.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if we've talked about this kind of struggle with that.
Emotional eater.
Right.
Eater.
So I've been trying to make sure that I don't have as much junk food readily available.
Yeah.
Which has led to a huge meltdown about groceries, which is why she's like, you don't grocery shop. I'm like, I do, we have plenty of food. She's like, it's boring food. And I'm like, then you're not hungry.
Dopamine hit is a thing.
So, and because we have this generation that's been raised on devices, on short-term content, the dopamine addiction, even myself, is very real. Right?
It's huge.
And has a huge effect on mental health for this group. And so she now feels like I'm being critical of, you just want me to be smart. You're putting me on a diet. I'm like, I didn't put you on a diet. I'm just trying to correct or maybe manipulate,
It's not.
manipulation shouldn't be seen as negative off the bat.
No,
but
neither are you correcting, nor are you manipulating, nor are you. Listen, the more bad things available in front of you that give you a dopamine hit, the more you're going to go towards it.
Right.
And it is one way of having control over the surroundings, you're doing the best you can. I mean, this is the hard part about, babe, you're a single parent.
Yeah.
Heaven's sake, everything falls on your shoulder on
and-
like even balancing this stuff out. There is nobody else who can come and have this conversation, because you have to be good cop, ugly cop, bad cop, great cop.
And like thankfully Drew steps up and helps me co-parent in that way, where like if she's just hammering me, I reach out and he's able to kind of try to talk to her and mediate with her and be like, hey, and I appreciate that level of support from him and that level of participation. However, hearing her tell me it's my body, it's not your body.
Yeah. And you're also proud of it. Like when it comes out.
Yeah.
And
I'm
like, oh
like,
my God, I'm so
but
proud
this,
of it.
like, until you're not under my care, because that's what I have to tell her. I was like, I'm your parent, you're my responsibility. She's like, it's none of your business. So I'm like, you are my business until you're 18. Because I could go to jail for your decisions.
Yes.
Until you're 18.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a level of like legal responsibility that I have to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be, and that you're not neglected. You know, because she's writing against. She's like, it's my room. If I want my room to be messy, my room's gonna be messy. And I'm like, can't, you know? And then so I try and give her some of that responsibility back, you know, chores.
Yeah.
Trying to, if you want independence, let me show you how.
Yeah.
You know, she talks about wanting to be on her own all the time. Let me teach you the tools that you need to get there.
I mean, I'll tell you, I think it will get a little better as she ages.
Yes.
Because it's a constant conversation. I don't know whether, I don't have a girl, I only have a boy, right? And this thing about cleaning up after yourself, messy, junk eating, these are all constant topics, I bet, in every single household with a child. And one of the things I tell him is, hey, it's not even how it makes me feel. It's like you're trying to learn responsibilities for yourself. And I get it that, you know, the mess doesn't matter to you. But when you can't find something, you know who you're coming to, me. I don't know how you want to keep your things. I'm not telling you how to keep your things. But if you don't want to be organized about where things are, and you come and ask me, I have no way of divining where your shit is. Right? Food, very similar. Like, you want to be on YouTube and YouTube shorts for your gaming grinding? Like yesterday, the math whole thing. I'm like, I can't tell him work hard on this because he will not understand this language. So something flipped in my head. You know how you've been grinding for Elden Ring? Bruh, same thing. You gotta grind.
Yes.
And he's like, he looked at me because those words hit
Yes, he
more,
understood.
right? He understood
The
that
investment.
more. Right. And you're right. I mean, dude, we are very aware of how much we project. We try to pull that back because we're like, yeah, I know, I see it, I'm aware. But at the same time, you're like, I am your coach right now. I have to point out and hold you accountable and responsible. It is literally my job.
Right. Well, and I've had to show her that. So when she hasn't wanted to participate in volleyball, I'm still the coach.
Yeah.
I still have to go to practice whether you want to go or not. I still have to go to the games whether you want to go or not. I made a commitment to this team and to these girls.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, it's like, we are not as strict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine this whole thing like, hey, you are going. You don't have a choice. You have to play. Want to break down, have cry? Go for it. You are playing. Like, there is no, like, we could use that language and we are trying very actively not to.
Yes. Well, I have tried. I'm going to be honest. There is, and you know, my kid, she will destroy the entire experience for everyone and not care. There will be no guilt or shame for ruining the entire experience for everyone. Make me do something I don't want to do, and I'm gonna burn it down. And I have such respect for it, and I also resent it, okay?
The 2 R's, respect and resent. Oh, darn.
I know, because there's no winning. There's just no winning.
There's a whole story you can write here. Like, I mean, I think you can totally write a novel, a book on coming to age.
Maybe that's something her and I can do together, and she'll just have to illustrate
It could be a whole new element of Gilmore Girls, but living in the house, coming from Seattle, dad out of the picture-ish, right?
She brings it up often. She's like, you moved me here. Nobody wants to live in this state. Da 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 da. And I'm like, oh my I hear God. You. I know. Altruism bites again. It's a beast. I don't know. But it's just been a roller coaster of trying to like surrender, just like you are. You have to be creative with how you approach them, because like we were talking about motivation, it's so hard to do something you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. It's almost not worth it, especially in these times. Mm-hmm.
It actually is not even almost. It is not worth it, because you have had to be self-initiated throughout your life. Mm-hmm. What is the one person for you without any reciprocity needed ever that you are the safest? Right. That is the point. You are the safe haven for Ari.
Yeah. A few people, yeah.
Fully for Ari, right? And then, not by any small amount, you are a safe person for many, many, many people. Mm-hmm. I know you long enough to know, and I know this personally because it's taken a lot of work for me to get to a place, and I'm very fortunate that me and Hari worked through this shit, to have a safe person. Mm-hmm. You first.
Yes.
And you gotta be gracious with yourself, and you have initiative, but you've had enough initiatives, you do enough shit, there is enough mental load. Right. Like fucking getting up from the bed to get the child out of the door. Mm-hmm. Like, otherwise your child is not out of the door.
Right. Well, like, I was kind of grateful this morning. She woke up before the alarm went off. She got up, she wanted to make her own lunch today, which was huge.
Rare.
Right. First. Okay. And I let her do that, but then we, had interruptions. This was like a responsibility thing that backfired for her. I was trying to demonstrate, like, hey, you need laundry done. Go fill up a hamper with the things that you need cleaned. I got a load that had 2 pairs of pants and everything else that was like probably not dirty. Things that she doesn't wear, really. And I told her, I was like, I could tell that this was kind of a baloney load that you gave me. I washed it all. Mm. But then the same, Monday they were off. I'm like, hey, if you need things clean for school this week, I need it put in a hamper. Mm-hmm. Didn't happen. Mm-hmm. So the meltdown today was the pants that she wanted to wear weren't clean. Mm. And it was my fault they weren't clean. And I was like, oh, remember this time that I gave you the opportunity to bring me the things you needed to be cleaned, right? And it didn't matter. It didn't matter that it was on her. It was still, well, you're my mom. And I'm like, you see how that works?
See. So this is funny, right? The funny part is because when you and I sit and talk about this, and I think anybody who is a parent can sit and talk, you're going to find literally the same relatable examples, okay? We'd been sick, so I wanted to change all the sheets. And I did it on, I think Monday, because that's the day I was feeling a little okay.
Right.
So no, not Monday, Sunday.
Okay.
So I pulled out everything off of AJ's bed and everything off of our bed and the blankets and the couch blankets and blah blah blah. So my kiddo has his favorite under the comforter blanket is a Grogu blanket.
Okay.
It will stay there unwashed forever. And like, he will not care. He will not care it's not washed, okay? I just whispered. You couldn't have heard me, so I'm being loud. I'm like, whenever we wash those things, it's been cold outside.
Right.
So especially comforters, if I wash, I like to put them in the sun.
Right.
After, like, So it had not been washed. Day before yesterday night. Tears in his eyes. I want my Grogu. This is a fucking almost 14-year-old, okay? I want my Grogu. I'm like, you literally were sitting and playing video games for like 5 hours today.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't have put your Grogu for wash? Like, bro. Okay? I told him when he left to school yesterday, remember to put your Grogu for wash when you come back. He came back, all the schoolwork issues, he sort of remembered and he had forgotten. Fortunately for him, I put the blankets for wash yesterday in the morning.
Right,
mama there,
right,
hard, soft. And so at night, finishing dinner, he's like, oh my God, I forgot my Grogu.
That's funny. And you have it though, you have it.
I had taken care of it. But laundry will pile up on that door right behind, like yay high, and he will start wearing pants that are yay short.
Right?
I'm like, okay.
Ari refuses. I have so many clothes that I have to take for donation.
Yes.
So
Same
many.
thing. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They will refuse.
No, Ari is like, get rid of it. I don't care.
Oh.
I don't want to wear it.
Okay.
We will buy clothes for her, and then she'll decide that she doesn't like them almost immediately. She don't like the way they fit. She don't like the way they look with the rest of her clothes or her shoes. She won't wear them. It's frustrating. I need to find good shelters to just donate to. As much as like I love Goodwill, it's also overwhelming and also overpriced now, guys. The people who need my things can't afford them.
Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll pay you for some of it.
Some of it. At least the good ones.
Right.
Harry went through our stuff and he pulled out and he's like, we need to go drive down to Buffalo Exchange.
Yes.
And like, okay.
Ari
been
really
sitting
wants to
for
sell
2 months.
things. She's like, why don't you sell things? Why don't you sell things? So I'm like, I'm
You
still
know
like
the
a donate
work?
part.
But also the work it
For
involves.
$5, I know. That's what I try and tell her. It's almost not worth it to me. I'm glad that she's got an enterprising spirit in her.
Hey, it's easy to be enterprising when you're asking somebody else to do the shit.
Do the work.
Yes.
Right. I was like, I already have enough stuff to do.
Yes.
You know, and she probably would do it. Also, I don't want to give a bunch of strangers our general area. And also don't want to take time to go meet them.
Yes.
So that's it.
It's a lot of things.
I just can't. I don't.
Yes.
I cannot do it. I'd rather just go give it away.
Yes.
That's where I'm at with
It's
it.
a lesser on the mental load. 100%.
I don't know if you know anybody. If you don't know anybody, you can comment on this video. You kind of know what area we're in. I have a giant LOL OMG dollhouse with a ton of dolls and accessories in caboodles and containers. But I can't fit and I can't take it apart or it will break. It's like this tall and like this wide. So unless you have a van, I wouldn't recommend putting it in the bed of a truck.
Send me a photo. I have a few girlfriends who all have young daughters.
Okay.
And see, I will ask, and one of them has a big ass truck, and they can come and pick it up. But tell me,
I'll
send me a photo.
It's just huge and it's really cool. So cool. But it's
You want to
takes
give
up
it
so much
away, or
space.
you're selling?
I will give it away. Honestly, we've had it for over a year out of her room.
Okay.
At this point, please just come get it. I just want it gone. I cannot move it away from the house myself.
Unless
Please
you
just
break
come get
it out.
it. Yes. And I don't want to break it because it's so cool.
Yes.
I would, anyone would love it. If you have a child that's under 4 feet tall, it's as tall as they are.
Wow.
Like, it is a tall, big project.
Wow.
I'm just going to drive through. I've got the cars. Okay, one of the cars has a hot tub in the back.
Oh my.
Okay, like, it's cool. We have cool stuff.
Yeah. You are a cool person. Everything is...
Oh, it's right. Thank you. We
Yes.
tried. Recently,
She took
just
the
a
compliment
weirdo.
well, yeah. She took
Thank
it
you.
well.
Thank you.
She also, however, does look like the guy who wants to break into the Home Alone house right now. So,
Thank you.
like, whatever.
Listen, this Ralph Lauren sweater that I got on
Beanie
Facebook
that you
Marketplace.
just stumped all your
You know what I love about this beanie is that it's reflective. Okay, shout out to Muscard. It's a cycling beanie.
Is it a
Yeah.
reflective one?
So if you put the flash on, this is just gonna shine right back at you. I won't get hit by cars. You can always see me. But yeah, I really love secondhand things. Obviously,
I think reusing is a really, really, it's a very, very important thing.
I'm actually
we do
driving
not
to
need
pick
to.
up some bolo ties when I leave here.
I'm trying to get rid of a couple of chairs and, if possible, my gray couch. And I'm like, to your point, I'm like, I don't have the energy.
The gray couch that faces your mustard colored chairs?
No, that's a
one in there.
mustard.
Yeah.
The one that is in there.
Oh, okay.
It becomes a queen bed.
Oh, okay.
It's a really comfortable queen bed too.
I believe it.
Yeah, the gray couch in my game room is the one. I'm trying to remove sitting there so that it can be more for. I want to move my body and work out with
And
space.
studio space, yeah.
So I just want that space, which means I have to now fold the table tennis table, which is fine. It's easy to do it. But I'm like, okay, enough butt supports are there in the house.
Right.
I don't need
It's not a
another-
sitting room.
It's a fantastic couch. We don't have pets. I don't know why I'm
And she
saying
doesn't
shit.
smoke.
I don't smoke.
Smoke-free, pet-free home.
Yeah.
Again, if y'all are interested and you know what area we live in because you've been here for a minute,
Ping us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
comments, I check them.
But
I did want, what time is it? I didn't bring my phone over
10,
there.
12.
Okay. I did want to read a little bit
Oh yes, please.
about this human design thing.
Don't
Let's
go
see if
too
I
much
find
to the corner. Come a little in.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I like, that's what I noticed about being a little neurodivergent is that I
Yeah.
will scrunch myself into the tiniest comfort ball.
I think it's less about neurodivergent. It's more about being told become small and being convenient for everybody. You know,
Even
so
when
the
I
smaller
sleep,
and
though.
smaller, teeny.
Yeah, I like scrunch, and then I'll realize that I'm scrunched.
Take less space was what was told.
Human design,
We will take the space we want to take. We
right?
don't need to be loud.
I haven't wordled today.
So we were talking about reading and vocabulary and whatnot. I've been really into. You have Apple News?
I do.
Okay, Apple News has many puzzles. It's got the mini crossword. It's got the actual crossword. It's got the quartiles. Quartiles is very interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah, and so I've been really into the quartiles because it was really hard initially. You know, because when you are too used to doing the same things that you are good at, and you go down this narrow path, and you have stopped doing things that were outside your comfort zone for a while, or I love doing crosswords and whatnot, but like I said, I'm a slow reader, so it will go slow. And the expectation you need to hit a timeline and you're competing and a leaderboard and all that will give me so much anxiety.
Really?
Yeah. Tests will give me anxiety.
Oh.
I'm not trying to hit speed. So I want to enjoy.
That makes sense.
You remove the joy for me if you start making everything about speed.
Right. Well, that's where I'm at. So there are obviously in the bartending industry where people were like, speed.
Everything competition is
Mine's
speed.
craft.
Yes.
Mine's experience.
That's it.
Mine is, and I won't even say that I'm a hardcore mixologist. I do have that capacity. I genuinely like making drinks that people enjoy, and that's all gonna vary. I'm not a stickler on keeping a recipe the same way if it's not to your taste.
I
always tell
think
people
that's
it's
what you should go and make happen in terms of events.
Anyways, we'll do the 5 human design types. You have generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. So generators, which is what I have tested to be.
I would have
to specify.
guessed just from basic words that you're a reflector.
Right, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Except that's not the case. Human design. Because how does this go?
So human design is very similar to some personality tests, sort of ideas on what kind of, the way you are.
So let's talk about generators are about 70% of the population. Okay, so one of the biggest ones. Primary human design make up about 70%. These individuals are characterized by their incredible life force energy, which is vital for both personal fulfillment and collective activity. We're builders and doers, but we're powered by sacral response.
Okay.
Which I thought was very interesting. I don't necessarily know what that means, but I'm assuming it means what ignites you. And something I've talked about is how your sexual energy is your foremost creative source energy. So the things that kind of turn you on activate you, and you can channel them into action versus just self-fulfillment and self-whatever. However, I'm very curious to know more about how that works. Where does this go? The sacral response is the core of the generator's energy. It's instinctual responsive signals when to go for something or back off. Okay? And it says that they have a consistent energy supply. So I feel like this is flawed for me. I took a free test. Maybe I should pay for one. But if something doesn't excite me, I genuinely can't do it.
Yeah.
And that has been hard for me to accept. And then
and it's, let me challenge that theory for a second. Brushing your teeth excites you?
No, but you want to know what I do while I brush my teeth? To get through the 2 minutes? I do exercises.
True. But apart from what you concurrently do, why do you brush your teeth every single day? It doesn't excite you. Why do you brush your teeth?
Because I like to eat.
Okay, go on.
You can't eat when your teeth are messed up. If you ever have tooth pain or a cavity, also for the way that they look.
So logically, you have programmed in your head that if you skip brushing teeth today.
I have mental health problems.
Right. So skip brushing teeth one day isn't necessarily going to give you toothaches.
No.
Right? So at the same time, you have now programmed yourself to brush your teeth every single day without fail, because you have programmed in your head that teeth health is part of overall health. You've also programmed in your head you don't like the taste of your mouth when it's not brushed.
Right.
You have programmed in your head you don't like the smell of your mouth. So this is part of the programming. It is what we say to ourselves to justify certain actions. Okay? And if we don't believe in those, you won't actually execute the action. The belief in your justification is super important. It can't be for the sake of justification, let me come up with it. You are excited about knowing you. You're not into medications.
Nope.
Very naturally managing health. Being very present in terms of body's health. Mind's health is connected to body's health for you. That was a long journey by itself for you.
Right.
That excites you.
Yes.
So this action is just a little tentacle.
Right.
In that is my theory on why there are certain things that you do even if it doesn't excite you. You do it. I think that's the part where we have to find the right kind of justifications. And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
So I did see a clip the other day on the internet where Trevor Noah was discussing how we have stopped utilizing friendships and stopped investing in friendship in a way that has put huge amounts of stress on our romantic partnerships by expecting our romantic partners to fulfill what our community used to in friendships.
100%.
And then the man that he was sitting across from says we're facing the same thing in the workforce. And I don't totally agree. And it's because now you have to work twice as hard for longer hours typically to be able to make what you need in order to survive here. So the reason we're not in bowling leagues anymore is because A, they're exorbitantly priced. It's a huge time investment, right, to go to bowling leagues. We're not doing like slow pitch softball. We're not doing community activities as much anymore, which means that now we're looking for that level of fulfillment from our careers and from our jobs. So now jobs aren't just jobs, it's spiritual fulfillment and life purpose.
Meaning, and yes, all of that.
I don't grasp the negative stigma associated with wanting your work to be a part of your purpose, if it's what you're spending majority of your time doing. But we're getting a lot of the business-minded people who will say that this imbalance is caused by you not being more involved in your community. Well, please tell me, what part of our community can I belong to that I'm not spending hundreds of dollars a month on, which means that I still have to work, which means that I'm still tired all of the time just trying to be a part of my community.
100%.
Which doesn't necessarily fulfill me because there's always a price tag associated with it. And there's so much cost.
So much. And we've made, I think, everything a capitalistic, consumeristic output.
So it's taken from us.
Correct. I mean, I see people who post so much about how to post and make money posting on the internet. I'm like,
I don't post anymore.
That literally drives me. I'm like, I loved the community where people stand up for each other. I think it's really nice.
Right.
And there are people who post about parenting. There are people who post about self-parenting. There are people who post about anger management, relationships. And then they will finish their post by, if you want to take my workshop, you want to buy my course, blah, blah, blah. And for me, what's fascinating is not even the content. The most fascinating is the comments.
Right.
And commentary, you will see, why do you always have to sell? Right? And there are those who will be supportive of the fact that, but she's also need to make money to live a life in this world. Right? And so your point of, why can't I find money in my purpose and purpose in my money is, I think, very valid. Right? It is fundamentally threaded into our being that we need money to survive. And we need significant money to survive, not even to thrive.
Right.
So why can't our joys come from also doing meaningful work? I think it should. I think it can.
And we've been caught up in systems where most of the work that we're doing is so medial and has no enriching purpose in our community that you can't vilify a population for rioting against making things for the sake of making things.
100%.
Right? When you're watching everyone around you suffer, when you go home and you're exhausted being home and your house is in a disarray because you're so tired, and then you have escapism in a tiny screen, and then you're just going through the mundaneness of every day, being worn down constantly. Eventually the energy slows and that driving force, and then like, how do you boost morale? How do you rejuvenate? Right? How do you do that in our current module? And the answer is right now that we can't. We have to
And if you try to do it, we are painted selfish.
Yes, or trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Or challenging management. Right?
All of those things.
Or affecting productivity. What do you mean this is for joy?
Yeah. I mean, being productive and efficient can be joyous as well. Okay. Getting just basic stuff done. I get all of it. It's just not everybody can compartmentalize.
Mm-mm.
And I think we are seeing the effects of excessive compartmentalization on this generation and the next. There is a reason why Twitch has become a big deal, because people who are gaming are streaming their gaming, the joy that they are coming from the creative element of gaming, and it's making money. So we can't have businesses not understand this. Why the hell are businesses using influencers then? Right? But you know the amount of work it takes to be an influencer?
I watch.
Oh my God. The amount of editing, the amount of, it takes work. And therein comes this thing of you talking about even your joy of creating drinks. It's a craft.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time. But the moment you have to videocraft, edit it, make a production out of it so that people will watch it. Now what has it become? You are doing it for validation, for likes,
to be
for share. Yes. It is not for the joy of it. And I think that it is the expectation. We need to have purpose, we need to have meaning, we need to have value, versus you just finding joys in very simple things. Sitting still, nobody finds joy in just sitting still. Most people don't find joy in sitting still, right? It's a very, I find it hard to sit still and find joy, but I will find joy in slow moving my body.
Yes.
So I will use my way of mindful movement, and I'm like, you know what I'm doing instead? I'm connecting with my body.
Yes.
I am going to see how a muscle is feeling, how I'm breathing. Did I shift my weight? Did I feel my shoulders kick in a place I don't want my shoulders to kick in? There, I find tremendous calmness in, not necessarily joy, calmness in, because I'm like, oh, I'm that deeply connected to my body.
Well, and like joy is a spectrum, right? Every emotion is a spectrum. And I just think that the joy of movement, like realistically, we're fast moving towards aging and into aging, and movement is an investment in mobility in that long term. But can you imagine not investing in that and losing your mobility quickly, or something happening and you not being able to do that?
We are so often very easily dismissive of, we are at the mercy of our body.
That's what I love to talk to people about.
Right?
You know, there was a man who got really excited when he talked to me about herbalism the other day, and he's like, so you can help me with my knee pain. And I was like, actually, you probably need to do either, physical therapy, or like, have you tried Pilates, which I feel like is preventative physical therapy. You know, my boss had the same, like a similar spinal injury, except he had spondyle something.
Spondylitis.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like a fracture. Like that part broke off. And so they had to go in, and he's got pins and things in his spine. I didn't have that issue. Mine was just a crack. My stuff's not fused. I'm very grateful that my spinal fracture didn't require surgery to correct. It just required stillness for me to correct, which was hard at that time. I told him, because he likes to go to the gym, but I also watch and see his body, and I realize there are parts that he's neglecting in the gym. And that's mostly because he's not a personal trainer. He's not someone with the knowledge of health and how to invest in the overall part of your body.
Totally.
He's built these muscles, but he's neglected other muscles, and he still has chronic pain. Yeah. And so I was like, literally 3 doors down from where I work, there's a Club Pilates. And I was like, honestly, you're already here. Get a membership. Before you go home, hit a class.
Yes.
something you and your wife could probably do together, because they met at the gym, I guess. And so it's something I'm always talking to these people about. Like, you can help me with my knee pain. I can help you with alternatives to needing to take pain medication, but I can't address something physically for you unless you're coming to me and we're moving together, or you're going to someone who knows how to teach you to move.
100%. And this expectation you can fix something is so ingrained in us that it needs to be quick.
Right. Or that I'm not responsible for it. Or you aren't responsible for your own
I came to you,
feeling.
so you fix it.
Yes. And if it's not fixed, it's your fault. Not me for,
not trying.
Or investing time in it.
100%.
Or effort in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I get frustrated with, even with my mother. She's constantly trying to sell me on these meal prep plans. I resist it. Yeah. I don't want anyone to pick up my ingredients and send me recipes with the ingredients to build. To me, ew. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. It works for a lot of people. I don't.
I hear you. I just like you crafting cocktails. For me, cooking, it is art. I will do the same kind of dish with different ingredients, like
all the time.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have this powder, no problem. I will do it without garlic powder this time. I will do it with that this time. I don't want garlic this time. Like, I will change it up, because that is the joy of, I don't want it prepackaged.
I don't. And so that's it. That's what I tell, like, my mom asks me for recipes. I don't use recipes.
I don't really use recipes.
I don't use recipes.
Yes.
I intuit it. I can go in my pantry and I can make cool meals.
Yes.
With random things.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
About myself. I realize that she is not like that. She grew up with cookbooks. I don't know why she needs constant direction.
But programmed to constantly take constant direction,
right.
Or being told if you don't take constant direction, you're gonna fuck it up.
Right.
So that's a self-confidence thing. So no, I hear you. Hey.
I also can't meal plan. I don't want to make a list.
Dude, it's a boring shit. Okay,
I can't do it. I'm
you
so glad you're there with me.
You can do it. We don't want to do it. It's a choice. It is. Listen, I can eat the same food every single day. You want to dare me to do it? I literally wanted to create an account and say, eat the same food every day, kind of thing, right? So my favorite is tacos. My favorite is egg tacos.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I love
a breakfast taco.
Breakfast taco.
Yeah.
I can eat it morning, noon, and night. Like,
I
literally.
I could do the same.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. On a dare, not even on a dare, on a discipline test, I can do it. Do I have to? I don't have to. So there are those who don't get joy from experimenting with their food. Go for meal prep. You don't have the confidence to cook. Go for meal prep and recipes.
Yeah.
For those who get joy in the exploration, it actually takes away joy.
I like being able to select my ingredients. I like going and buying leeks and doing things with leeks. I bought leeks because I knew that my mother wanted to make potato and leek soup. She hasn't touched the leeks. She will order out before she makes food. And I get that that's an energetic investment for her, but I know that if I don't buy her easy things to prepare, they're eating out when I'm not at home. Yeah. And I work 5 nights in a row. I go to work tonight. I don't stop working until Sunday night when I get off of work. To have Monday off, and Monday I have volleyball practice.
Yeah.
I have a game on Sunday, and I have volleyball practice on Monday. So I'm doing 2 things, but I'm also parenting. Yeah. And so I have really
tried. You have 3 generations in your home.
Yes.
That's a challenge all by itself. We have had a long episode here.
We have.
So, I want to come back next time when we get together and talk about something really exciting, which is the fear of death.
Oh, yes. I would love to talk about this. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about the fear of death and, obsession with living longer and obsession with
this is exciting.
Dying. And so we don't talk about afterlife. Well, I don't care about afterlife, in all honesty. We don't talk about life ending. Like, what does that make you feel? What does it make it feel like? Are you scared life is going to end? Why is this a conversation that's so hard to be had? So next time, exciting topic.
Yes,
We're
tune
gonna
in
talk
next time where we talk about
death
and dying and the fear involved with it.
Yes.
And love you guys.
Love you.
Be gentle with yourself and others.
Grace
Right.
for yourself.
Boom.